78% of teen girls struggle with bad body image. 80% of girls Photoshop their pictures, and 50% of global teens are dissatisfied with their body. Why are these numbers so extreme? Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back to Kaylin's Corner podcast. I'm your host, Kaylin Grace, and this week we are diving into body image and body confidence, which is the main thing this podcast is about, to be honest. It was the worst thing I dealt with, and I want to help other people who are also struggling with this. I'm going to give you some tips and explain a few things. Hopefully something can click for you in this episode. So yeah, let's get started and talk about it. Firstly, I'm going to talk about insecurities and how we were not born with them. All of your insecurities were created by something someone said, or someone said to you, someone said about themselves. You were not born with your insecurities. You did not come out of the womb and think, oh my gosh, my stomach's fat. Oh my gosh, I don't like my hips, my acne. Oh my gosh. You didn't start off that way. You ended up that way by something someone said or the way someone acted that caused you to think this way. I saw TikTok and it was explaining how it's an outdated survival way, which sounds weird at first, but it makes sense because back in the day, like caveman days, fitting in was crucial to society. Fitting in socially is such a huge part of our society. It's our version of danger because we don't have that kind of danger anymore, like with like bears or whatever they dealt with back then. And because fitting in used to be so crucial for society, it's still such a big part in our society nowadays. It still makes us think that all eyes are on us, and we still focus on all the little things that seem terrible to us when they're literally just normal. And we still focus so much on what others think of us as a way of trying to fit in. I think it's a lot easier to understand and accept all of your insecurities if you also understand and accept the fact that you were not born with them. This is not just a part of being a teenager. It's not normal to have all these insecurities. They were just created through society all of these years. If you see like everyone like talking about their bodies and being like, oh, I'm fat, oh, I hate my stomach, it's going to start making you think about yourself. And you're going to be like, oh, maybe I'm fat. Maybe I need to worry about my stomach. And then it causes those insecurities. It puts those insecurities in your brain. Even if it's not said about you, the idea is there. And now it's formed in your brain and you'll remember that. And that creates the insecurity. Next topic I'm going to talk about is actually mirrors. I know it sounds weird, like physical object, like how can that affect our body image, but it has such an impact on us, you probably don't even realize. I used to literally just like look at myself in the mirror and pick apart myself and just be so horrible to myself. I would sit at my desk right there, and because I have an entire wall of mirrors, I would just be able to look to my left and see everything, see myself on the side. I would always look at my side profile, look at my stomach, and it would literally ruin my day. It was terrible, and it was a terrible way to think, and I hated that I thought that way. I used to see it almost as a punishment to have to stare at myself in the mirror every day. Now I see it as a gift. It's a gift. Mirrors were created so that we could look at our faces and we didn't just have to question what we looked like. No, they were created, and you should be grateful that you have a mirror, that you have a camera to know what you look like when you're not really supposed to. There's this quote on TikTok that I'm going to read. I was looking through my social media and it popped up. Something just clicked with it and it made so much sense to me, and hopefully it makes sense to you too. It said, we were not meant to see our faces, and so they created cameras and mirrors. Now we see our faces every day alongside millions of others to compare to. Obviously, it talks about mirrors and how we compare ourselves to other people and how we were not supposed to know what we look like. Back in the day, like caveman days, a while ago, people did not know what they looked like. You could not see yourself for exactly like how we see ourselves now. Now I think of mirrors as a gift. The fact that we get to see our faces every morning. I get to wake up and be able to look at my face every day and be able to stare at myself in the camera right now and see my face and know what I look like. Kind of crazy when you think about. And if you think of it in a positive way, it's kind of one of those things that's like, oh, like I can't believe that exists. It's actually like such a beautiful thing. And that's the way I think of it now. I also want to talk about something called the exposure effect, which means the more you see it, the more you notice the details. That absolutely makes sense if you think about it. The more you see something, the more you notice the small things, the stuff you didn't notice the first time. If you watch a movie the first time, you're going to notice the big things. You watch it the second time, you're going to start noticing the smaller and smaller details of it. Same thing with you. You see your face every single day. So the more you see your face, the more you're going to notice how it normally looks, and you're going to notice if something changes. You're going to notice the small like details about it. People who look at you for the first time are not going to notice any of that stuff. It's only you because you see yourself every single day. That's why we pick apart ourselves and we look at the small details about everything. It's because exposure effect. We see ourselves every day, so we notice all the small details. It shows how we focus too much on our imperfections on ourselves because we see ourselves every day, but we always focus on the imperfections instead of normalizing having imperfections. A tip I'll give you with mirrors is I learned to just stop looking. Confidence is built in the moments where you don't look and you just keep walking. Every single time I would see a mirror, honestly, literally every single time I'd pull my shirt up and I'd look at my stomach. And I'd see, oh, is my stomach like this today or is it like this today? And on days it was like this today, I would walk out of the bathroom, out of my room, feeling so confident in myself, feeling so like cute. And the days where I was a little bloated, that's when I would feel terrible about myself. What I saw in the mirror, I was using as a way to value myself. Because, like I said, confidence is built in the times where you stop looking and you just keep walking. Now, let's talk about social media. Obviously, we all go on social media. It has a pretty negative impact on us. I think that there are some ways that social media can possibly impact you, but overall, I think a lot of it is negative, whether or not we realize it or not. And even if you do, you're probably not going to stop. But social media, we already know, has such an impact on our mental health. It makes us overthink everything we do. It makes us focus on our own imperfections because it creates fake beauty standards that are impossible to follow because they're fake. We cannot be perfect every single day, but we're comparing ourselves to these people, their filtered lives on social media, thinking that, oh, this person is perfect. Why can't I be too? And putting it on ourselves. That goes with overall confidence, obviously, but I think it especially goes with body confidence. Because if you look at this perfect body, like influencer that you want to look like someday, and you think, oh, this is what they look like every single day. At my best, this is 1,000 times worse than their worst version of themselves. There are influencers that have, they're so body T, like body goals, but I would like compare myself to them and I'd be like, oh, why can't I be skinny every single day like them? Why can't I look like this? Why can't I have abs? Social media is fake. They have bad days just like you. They get bloated just like you. Every single thing that goes with it. They get acne as well. They get acne just like we do. They just probably don't show it. Because why would you show the worst part of yourself on social media for everyone to see? So they show the best version of themselves, and that's the version we see and compare ourselves to. At least for me, it causes me to base my value off of likes and follows. I hear so many people talk about, oh my gosh, this post didn't get enough likes, so I'm not going to post it. Or, oh my gosh, I'm losing followers. What the heck? It shouldn't contribute at all to how you value yourself. That does not mean anything about you or yourself or anything. It's just how many people are going to connect with you on the internet. It does not mean someone else is better than you just because they have more likes. It just means that they connect with more people online. I keep saying this, but I saw a video on Instagram and it was also talking about how scrolling on TikTok or Instagram is just giving ourselves evidence on all of our insecurities. So if you are feeling insecure at the moment and you're just like, oh, I'm having a bad day, I'm feeling insecure, let's scroll on TikTok. You are giving yourself evidence on all of your insecurities. If you're thinking, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, and then you're scrolling through TikTok and looking through all these videos of these people that you think are perfect, now the perfect body, you're providing evidence to why you're right when you should be trying to prove yourself wrong. And obviously it's unintentional, but you're trying to prove yourself right on all your insecurities, and that's not going to help you at all. Okay, next let's talk about diet culture, which I think is the biggest part of this episode. I think that everyone deals with issues with food relationships, food guilt. You need to understand that your smallest body is not the healthiest body. Your smallest version of yourself is not the healthiest version of yourself. I'm probably at the healthiest I've ever been right now because I work out so much and I've been eating correctly, but I also would never, ever, ever restrict anything that I want to eat. I'm healthy enough, yes, and I try to make overall healthy choices, but if I get home after practice and I'm like, oh, that cookie looks really good, I'm going to eat the cookie. Be for real, I'm not stopping myself from eating a dessert. I love desserts. Overall, I would say I'm a very healthy person. I do eat fruit a lot, it's like that. But if you want to eat a cookie or desserts, you should never restrict yourself from something you want to eat because you're a teenager. This is the only teenage years you're going to get. You do not want to look back and think about, oh, like, I was really hungry. Why didn't I just eat that? But I always, always, always tell people that because people will be like, oh, no, I really want that. But, like, I already had a meal. I never restrict anything you want to eat. I think that, yes, it is okay to diet with the correct reasons and the right goal, obviously. I think you should never be dieting to make yourself smaller because you think that you're not good enough now. I've always said that you cannot be happy with yourself later if you're not happy with yourself now. You have to love your body now before you can love your body at its skinniest because that will honestly never be enough for you. You can keep trying and aiming to get smaller, to get to your goal body. Once you get to that goal body, you're gonna have a smaller body goal. Like, it's just never gonna be enough for you. That's why I think it's unneeded, obviously, but if you want to diet, if you want to work out, that's good for you. I do work out. I think working out is really good, but I think that you should never work out because you think your body isn't good enough. I think you should be working out because you want to gain strength, you want to gain confidence, I don't know, whatever. Do it because of those reasons, not because you're unhappy with the way you look now. And confidence also does not come after you fix yourself. Confidence is honestly a mentality. Confidence is all about accepting the way you are and learning to love yourself because you also can't change any of that. And of course, you should work out for joy, not for punishment, because it should never be a punishment for you. You should be working out because you enjoy it or because you like the result of it, which is why I work out. All right, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Caitlin's Corner Podcast. Please stay tuned for next week's episode when I do part 2. And have a great day, besties. Bye. Love you all.